Hey everyone, it's Dale Walker here, a natural foot and ankle correction specialist, and I have a special guest today who's going to be speaking with me and you for about 20 to 30 minutes. Her name is Felecia Harvey, and Felecia is a licensed massage therapist for over a decade. She's taught anatomy and physiology at the college level, and she is currently an instructor for the Rossiter system, which is basically Rolfing with the feet. And I think that's how you and I connected and met. But today, she's going to share with you some information about, and me, wearable phototherapy. That's designed to promote healing and reduce pain. And she explained to me, and this is why I'm very interested, is that it's very similar to low-level laser therapy. And I have done low laser therapy since I was 13. So, gosh, that's over 35 years ago. And it's a long time. And interestingly enough, I was introduced to it when I had warts on 7 out of my 10 fingers and went to a number of different specialists who tried everything to get rid of them. And it wasn't until that I visited a chiropractor who did the low-level therapy as well as chiropractic adjustments and most importantly changed my diet. So it was really these warts and the laser that changed my life as far as the way that I choose to be mindful of my diet and also alternative medicine, as well as integrating things that are traditional, because now laser's traditional since it's been around for 40 some odd years, but now we have technology to bring it to you. So with that, welcome Felecia.
DL, thank you so very much. And I'm so excited to get to be here and share with your audience and share a little bit of this interesting technology with you. I find it just extremely powerful and really, truly elegant in the simplicity of what it does and how it accomplishes it. So.
Well, you know what? I spoke a little bit about how you and I met, but tell me how you got introduced to the wearable phototherapy. What brought you to this place?
All right. Well, I have used the traditional low-level laser, which looks something like this. And when we use that, we can generate I don't know if you can see the laser light there. But so this was my concept of phototherapy, and I've been using this for over 6 or 7 years now in my practice. So I'm much more of a novice to the technology than you are. You've been experienced with it for a much longer period of time than I. But I began using that in my massage therapy practice and found that it had really remarkable results. And I was so astonished at the results that I often asked the company spokesperson, I said, if this is such an amazing tool, then how come somebody that's at my status on the totem pole in the medical community, how come I can get a hold of this? And I'm sure part of his answer was, well, if you got the money to pay for it, then yeah. But his actual answer to me was, there's absolutely no way you can hurt anybody with it unless you throw it at them. Truly. And I was like, okay, so that's, I was reassured with that and have been using it since then and with really remarkable results. So I use it for pain management. I use it to help reduce inflammation. I've actually used the actual laser on somebody who had a swelling on the back of their neck, their back that looked like this. And as I lasered that, you could just watch the swelling do this. And I was just blown away with how fast it works. And that's because it works with light. Mm-hmm. And our bodies are used to dealing with light and light energy. And that's important in a number of metabolic pathways in the body. So, you know, it's not really anything new, but it is new to our culture, I think, somewhat. So I had a physician in Arizona that reached out to me one day and wanted to introduce me to a different form of phototherapy. And I put him off and was like, I don't have time to visit with you. And he called back a little bit later and we talked about it. And it was a little bit difficult for me to grasp the concept of a non-transdermal wearable phototherapy. Mm-hmm. with my background, I said, okay, back up, wait a minute. The term non-transdermal is just like an oxymoron that you're going to have to explain that to me.
And you know what, for our audience, let's define what that means.
Yes.
Transdermal.
I made him define it to me because
Yeah,
my concept is put on a patch like the Nicoderm patch or whatever, and you expect some kind of medication to go through the patch, through the skin, and into the body.
You're right.
With this technology,
that is transdermal for you guys. That's what transdermal means. So let's talk about what's non-transdermal.
So the non-transdermal is, this is a completely sealed patch, and inside that patch are various organic crystals, sugars, and salts and whatever in an aqueous solution embedded into a membrane. And so it's completely sealed, and you apply this patch to the body, and then what happens is the body heat strikes those crystals, and then that particular amount of energy generates a photon of a particular frequency that's reflected back into the body. So those are frequencies of light that I can't see with the eye, but they still enter back into the body. So the only thing that enters the body is the light reflecting off of that patch. No drugs. These patches have been used by our athletes in the Olympics. They've been used by our equestrian trainers. They've been used in horse races and barrel races. And you know what kind of drug testing those kinds of individuals go through. So
right. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, absolutely no drugs involved in this therapy. And again, very, very fast and very effective. They can have very profound effects on the body very, very quickly. So that's
how quickly?
Yeah, that's the non-transdermal compartment part of it. And we call it wearable technology because it's just a simple little patch, and you peel the little paper off of it and you stick it on the body. Usually at the recommended points usually are based upon meridians and acupressure points. So because it is light, it does have a systemic effect on the body. But a lot of times I tell my clients, put it where it hurts. So the thing
much like the regular laser, which can be, by the way, can be done with both.
Right, where we talk about
that area, or stimulate the meridian for acupuncture points as well.
True. And so the thing that I was impressed about the patch was this is a device that I can offer to my clients, to my patients, and they can take this and they can have the benefits of that phototherapy on a 24/7 type of a situation, which is basically a better way of administering phototherapy anyway, because in the training that I've had with the doctors, they talk about how even using the regular traditional laser, often it's better to use like maybe a 5-second dose, maybe every hour, than it is to do a 2 or 3 minute dose. And that's the size of the doses. It doesn't take a lot to activate the metabolic pathway in the body and cause change. So very powerful that way.
And, just from an aside from what I do, I think the reason that most people are not exposed to laser is because traditional insurances do not reimburse for it. So Medicare doesn't reimburse for it, and it's phenomenal with wound healing, which doesn't reimburse for it. And so you can really only find it from alternative medicine practitioners and or people who that happen to have one at home, just like Felecia and I do. And it's really, again, very, very powerful technology, but it's very costly. I know my laser costs over $5,000 or $8,000. Felecia, how much was yours?
Well, my laser's actually got 3 of these probes. So I have a base station that has 3 lasers, and one of those uses an ultraviolet light, so it's very effective against pathogenic type of things.
Sure.
And mine was about $25,000. So basically the cost.
Holy cannoli.
Yeah, another car. So,
and what, guys, when you understand, and a lot of people, I think the people like Felecia and myself, we know how powerful these things work, so we kind of don't bat an eyelash because, you know, truthfully, we use them ourselves and help our own lives so that we can stay out of surgery. We can heal ourselves. The things that we're trying, that I'm trying, that Felicia's trying to do, empower you to heal yourself. You know, for me, it's my DIY programs. For Felecia, it's using this wearable phototherapy that we're bringing you, these things that would cost you either from a monetary standpoint, thousands of dollars, or from a traditional intervention standpoint, you know, your time, your energy, with surgeries or medications, it is money over time and side effects and those kinds of things. So the fact that this is something that can be put in your hands and you can take care of yourself at a fraction of the cost to buy a machine like we've done is pretty incredible. So thank you again for letting, you know, my people know about this.
Well, and the thing that's really amazing about it is that it does create such a tremendous shift in the physiology of the body. So there's a number of different patches that are available to the public, and some of the first ones that were available helped manage pain. So you could put them on the body, positive, negative polarity, and they have measured inflammation reduction within minutes. And so within minutes, when you reduce inflammation, you expect that pain level to go down with that too. It helps to balance out, one of them helps to balance out the autonomic nervous system. It's our anti-stress, and you can use it to suppress sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight situation, and enhance parasympathetic and help produce calm in the body. One of the ones that just blew me away when I got to looking at how it functions is the Energy Enhancer Pack. And this is one of the patches that was produced in coordination with the military service for our submariners, where they were looking to try to produce some kind of a way to enhance energy long-term for these individuals without the caffeine and the sugar rush and then the crash that follows right after it. Mm-hmm. And when I was going through the literature and it was talking about it enhances a process of energy conversion in the body called beta oxidation. I did my crazy little anatomy and physiology teacher dance because I'm like, oh, the mitochondria and the ATP, and now we're burning fat to fuel that. And I was like so thrilled. So very much changes the function in the body. And one that I wear every day is the Glutathione Patch. And I think a lot of people are not necessarily aware of how important glutathione is as far as an antioxidant and a detoxifying agent. But it will actually promote the removal of heavy metals from the body and help to increase our overall awareness and reduce the oxidative stress on the body. So, and it's a compound that we generally have in the body, but we have so much stress in our environment that we have that depleted at a pretty, just really sad state. And so it's just really amazing the change that we can produce with the patches. And the one that I really am excited about, and it's been available now for about maybe 14, 16 months, is the new patch that you can wear that activates our stem cells in the body. And this is just huge as far as really truly reducing pain, enhancing the immune system, tremendous asset to wound healing, and
any kind of healing,
really any kind of healing. Yeah. And truly the research is showing that it literally works to not just stop aging, but reverse the effects of aging on the body. So a really amazing technology. And I'm just, I tell people in my practice, if you've ever taken a supplement, like if you've ever taken a vitamin C pill on a daily basis, you should wear this patch every day.
Right. So now let me ask you, I think you have a visual to share about the stem cells.
I do, because right now, stem cells are a really big word in
a hot topic.
Yeah, very hot topic. And lots of times we'll talk about stem cell therapy for replacing cartilage in a knee, or, I don't know what all, but a lot of different procedures out there. And they're
Yeah. So as an anatomy and physiology professor, why don't you share with people specifically and give them the real deal about what stem cells do? What do they do?
stem cells, and we talk about them, and sometimes they get a bad rap because we hear sometimes embryonic stem cells.
Yes.
We'll hear people talk about umbilical stem cells. And
Mhm.
these are the cells that when you first start out, you only have maybe 1 or 2 cells. And then those cells ultimately divide, create more cells, and then those cells become specialized to become part of the brain or part of the liver, or that becomes a ligament or something. So a cell that generates into a different kind of a tissue, that parent cell, is what's called a stem cell. So they're tremendously important in our overall health and repair. And what happens is, as we age, those cells become a little bit less plastic. They may only give rise to a certain genealogy or a certain line of cells, like maybe only.
So they become more specific.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so that they, a stem cell might only work for a liver, but when you were an infant, that stem cell would work for a liver cell or a neurological cell or a heart cell or any kind of cell.
Exactly.
As we get older, like most things, we lose that, as you said, plasticity, the ability to change up to a various different things, and we become more specific and ingrained in A, B, or C.
Yes, very good explanation. And the thing that happens is, after we're born, we have a certain number of stem cells in the body. And then as we continue to age, fortunately, that stem cell population decreases. And as it decreases, for whatever reason that is, and a lot of it seems to be with stress in our lives, in our environment, and with energy consumption, with energy that's necessary for the body to function, sometimes we don't process it well. So we lose a number of other functions, and sometimes that's the stem cells that we no longer support. And so my graphic kind of illustrates how quickly these stem cells change. And so I'm going to switch, I think, and see if I can share those numbers with you, because I don't do numbers in the air. I have to see them. So
very good.
Share this with you real quick.
Okay.
So, all right. Can you see that?
Yes, now I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we're looking at here, and my titles didn't convert well, but what we're looking at here, and the arrow's working, the cursor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here we're talking about the age of an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And what's important here is that we see that in our teenage years, we still have in the body, circulating in the body, over 1 billion of these adult stem cells that are there. So I just call that 0, or I call that 100%. So that as we age, so by the time that we're 30, that billion cells has now decreased to 40 million cells only. So that means that we have lost 60%
Mm-hmm.
of the stem cells that we had when we were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time that we're 50, now then the residual stem cells in the body is only at this 250 million. So now at 50, we've lost 75% of those stem cells that are so important to repairing the tissue and helping keep us young. By the age of 60, we're down to only 100 million of those cells. So we've lost 90% of those. And then when we're 80, we only have 50 million of those in the body. So we've lost over 95% of our ability to repair and regenerate the body. So
I have a question here before you move on.
Uh-huh.
When we talk about the stem cells that are in existence at the age of, say, 14 versus the ones at 80, are the ones at 14, are they still plastic? Can they become any kind of stem cell, or are they now, have they lost their plasticity all the way at age 14? And when you use the phototherapy that improves the stem cells, do you also improve the plasticity, the ability to go to different places?
I'm going to say that the answer to that is yes. Pretty much those are what we call adult stem cells. So they've probably already determined what kind of cells they will create.
Mm-hmm.
When we start using the phototherapy, this is a really cool thing about this form of phototherapy to activate the stem cells. Then not only do we activate those stem cells that are still there remaining, but this particular phototherapy, because of the metabolic pathway that it follows in the body, it will actually trigger stem cells that reside in the skin to begin to generate additional stem cells. So we activate the existing stem cells
In the skin.
and begin to create a bigger population of stem cells as well. So we regenerate them and we reinvigorate them too.
So again, these now new stem cells that have been, coming from the skin stem cells, are they only for skin stem cells, or are they for stem cells of the liver, heart, brain, wherever?
They will travel to wherever we need to have repair. And so a lot of times when I use them with my clients, I say, put it where it hurts, because we're dealing with the properties of this process that help reduce inflammation and help repair that tissue. So by putting it a little bit more specifically to that point of interest, we may focus that more there. But a lot of times, because it has remarkable ability to remodel scar tissue, speed up wound healing, but a lot of times people may wear it and they may begin to think, I don't think this thing is doing anything for me anymore. But what's happening is the stem cells may actually be functioning somewhere within the body that we're not cognizant of, where there may be repair going on. And so we may not experience that on a physical level that we can feel or see, but they're still working to help repair the body and increase the youthfulness of those tissues. So did that answer the question?
Yeah, and so you had said that there's a bunch of different patches and the stem cell is one of them. Well, and then you said that you put it, sometimes you'll tell people to put it on for pain, but you also mentioned a pain patch. So
right.
One is, which one, how do you know what to use? And is it just, in my mind, if the stem cell is going to take care of it and then you get more bang from your buck because you're getting stem cells in addition to the healing there, why not use that one versus the one that's just for pain and it's only for pain? So how do you decide what to use?
Go for simplicity.
Okay.
And the stem cell patch offers me that simplicity. Because very often it will take care of the problem, the pain, within a matter of minutes. Although, and I really didn't like to use the pain patch, the ice wave patch, very much, because it was too, for me, a lot of times I experienced it, there's two patches there and you apply one and then you apply the other one and then you say, oh, does that work? Or do I need to move the other patch up here? And so I didn't like fiddling with it, even though it might only take a couple of minutes to figure out the best arrangement for that to be effective. I just want to put one on and be good to go. However, I did have a client come in the other day and there was just so much going on that the stem cell patch didn't help with the pain immediately. And so we went to the pain patches and we put those on. We got a little bit of reduction, but still didn't get the total resolution that I was looking for, and then had to apply actually another patch that calmed down the nervous system. And I used to not be real keen on using multiple patches. But one of the doctors one time made the comment that sometimes the pain patches won't work because the nervous system is in such an uproar that it's kind of like having a screaming baby in the room. And so if we take the patch that's designed to help calm down the nervous system, then you shut the baby up and then the body can pay attention to the other patches. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that was exactly what happened with this client the other day. So even though I sent him home with the pain patches and one for the nervous system and the X39, the stem cell patch, the only patches that I sent home with him for use at home was the stem cell patch, because I really think that if we calm that initial flare up of pain, that the other will help promote long-term healing. So
let me ask you another question. So does the stem cell stimulation patch, does that use the light therapy similar to laser as well, or is that a different mechanism altogether?
Nope, it works exactly the same, so that the body heat strikes the crystals that are there, and then they in turn reflect back into the body. And this is actually activating a metabolic pathway that I was not familiar with. It's more than just activating the stem cells, because this particular patch, this new patch, actually activates a molecule in the body called GHK copper. It's a peptide with a copper molecule on it. And this is kind of like when we talk about ATP production and you've got the molecules that carry electrons around. So this one's got the copper molecule on it, and then we take the copper off and then we have to reattach the copper. So the GHK copper in the body, I wasn't familiar with that particular molecule, but it diminishes in effectiveness as we age. And so what happens when we apply this patch is then we activate that GHK metabolic pathway. And the beauty of that, I think, in why this patch has such wide-ranging effects in the body, is because the GHK copper is involved in over 4,000 different metabolic pathways in the body, one of which is to activate the stem cells. And so we're enhancing a whole lot of other pathways in the body in addition to the healing pathway.
Now, when you mentioned the copper, what immediately came to mind is the wearable copper devices that a lot of people use for pain. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with that pathway that you spoke about. And just to reiterate, guys, for those of you who are not familiar, ATP is the body's way of producing energy. That's our energy, is our gasoline, essentially. So when we say ATP, that's what we're talking about. So with regard to the wearable copper, do you think that might have anything to do with, do you see any association there?
The information that I've had is saying that there's really not an association between that and the copper that we're talking about in the body that's a part of this metabolic pathway.
Okay. So we don't know why the copper works unless we get somebody who talks about copper here on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really interesting. And I could probably talk to you about this like all day, and I might keep you on after the show. Maybe we'll even record it for after the show, but I think we'll wrap up here. And we can record after the show and maybe make that available to people who are interested. But I wanted to give people the opportunity to find out how to reach out to you. So how does somebody listening here who wants to speak to you more about these phototherapy and, the logistics of them, how long they last, how much they cost, what's necessary, those kinds of logistical things that we haven't been able to cover here, and maybe we'll do it in the after show. So stay tuned there. But tell me how they reach out to you. How do people get in touch?
Okay, when you get this posted, we'll have a link so that they can click on that link, and it will direct them to my calendar so that they can schedule an interview or an appointment, a consultation time, and we can either get on the phone or get on video like this and do a face-to-face conference and discuss what their particular concern is and what might be the most helpful for them as far as how this technology works.
And will there be any cost for that?
No.
So it's going to be free. Great. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for that offer. So anybody who's interested, I know I'm interested, so I'm going to sign off and ask more personal questions that I don't know that maybe I'll share with you later. But thank you so much for being on here, Felecia. Again, the information, you can click on the link below, schedule in a free call with Felecia where you can talk about your personal problems like I'm going to do so you can see what it looks like. And then sense more about this really interesting technology and how it may help you or somebody that you love. Because when this happens, I just think of people that would be benefit from this kind of this kind of stuff out there. So thank you.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful to have you here, and I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then maybe we'll shoot an after show.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share because it's truly amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Step Up with DL Walker. For any information about our guest, it'll be found in the comments box below this video. For more information on how you can recover from injury, restore vitality, and gain resilience from disease and trauma, all in the comfort of your home, click the link on the screen. Until next time, take good care of your body, mind, and spirit. It's the only true home that you really have.